Doug, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to jump on a call, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, I appreciate the interview, man. That's awesome.
You are making your MMA debut July 26th at Proving Grounds, presented by Warrior Camp, at age 48, dude. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, such a cool thing. Now, let's go back a little bit. You mentioned back in 2017, after close to 40 years of drug addiction, alcoholism, you decided to make a change in your life. What happened in your life that made you decide to change all that?
Well, earlier in the summer, my middle daughter had a co-ed baby shower, which was kind of new to me. You know, it was always the ladies that did it. You know, I'm pretty old school. And my older sister was there. We were all drinking, and she introduced me to somebody that I'd already known, and introduced me as her alcoholic, obnoxious brother.
Oh.
And it really weighed on me a lot, you know, and I was like, you know, is that how everybody sees me, you know? And so I thought real long and hard about it, and I'm like, you know, I don't want to be the alcoholic brother, dad, cousin, uncle, anything like that. And so I really started giving it a thought about quitting drinking. And with my drug addiction, I got real heavy into opiates, which turned to heroin. I was on heroin for about 2.5 years. Wow. And I went to rehab in 2010, and so March 14th this year was 9 years for me, being clean from opiates. Had a couple of surgeries. I said, I don't want your poison. But the issue is, shortly after I had maintained sobriety, I did a short-term wean off with Suboxone, which was great. I started drinking after that, and so then real heavy. And so when it came down to it, I'm like, you know, this isn't for me. I just spent so many years numbing all the pain and everything that I'd witnessed and been through growing up. And one night I was just like, you know, my granddaughter's going to be born. So I needed to make a life choice. I had a doctor's appointment on August 1st. That was Monday, and I'd picked up an 8-ball Friday night and heavy drinking, did the 8-ball myself. And early into the evening on Sunday, I was like, you know, my granddaughter's going to be here anytime, and I don't want them to see me, to know me as that person. So at 12:01, I said, I'm done. And I went to the doctor that morning and told her, I said, I'm done with all of this. I don't want to be this person anymore. So she offered me some different medications that I could take to help me, you know, maintain and work through the withdrawals. And I said, no, I'm doing this on my own, and it was tough. Yeah. But I've never looked back, you know, and I have no desire anymore to do any of that. And so on the 7th of August, 7 p.m., my granddaughter was born, 7 pounds. Her dad's name is Seven, and it was my 7th day of sobriety. Full moon. She was my angel.
Come on, man.
Right. And at the same time, my oldest daughter was pregnant. And so my grandson was born in March the next year. And so it's been very amazing being a grandpa, let me tell you.
Wow, man, it's so inspirational, dude. That is awesome. I mean, you mentioned that as a kid, you were kind of the fat kid and you were walking around 260 pounds as an adult. I mean, what are you walking around at now?
I'm actually, since that post, I'm sitting at 148.
Come on, man. That is awesome.
I went from a 46 waist to a loose 30 right now. Yeah. You know, 2X, 3XL shirts. I wear a medium and I swim in them. But my shoulders are broad, so small is a little too tight in the pits, you know. Sure. I haven't weighed this since 6th grade. You know, I had a 30-inch waist in 6th grade. So okay. By the time I was in 8th grade, I was about 185, you know. Yeah. So, but being 5'4", you know, the little fat kid, you know, husky clothes. Sure. It just was never ending, you know. I think the beauty of all this that really makes me happy is seeing my kids see me being successful with my weight loss. They've never seen me under 230 pounds ever. Wow. And saw me at that heavy weight, you know, 260 for like so many years that, you know, I beat type 2 diabetes, which my mother died from, and my grandpa died from, and all the heart conditions and everything. And I just was like, you know, every time I'd go to the gym, I'd look at other people and I'm like, I'm not going to be that person. You know, I'm just not going to do it. Yeah. So it's pretty crazy. You know, I never had any wrestling. I tried wrestling in 7th grade. Guy tried to choke me, ended up in a brawl. I ended up hitting the coach, and whoa. You know, that was the end of my, you know, wrestling wanting to do. I just wanted to party and play music. Yeah. And then when I've never had any martial arts experience either. I just street fighting, you know, in the bar, alleys, whatever, defending myself or other people. Because even when other people were being bullied, I would still step in and you know, try to help them. And, you know, men bullying their women and things like that. I grew up in that violence and saw it so much with family, my parents, everybody. I just was not going to be that person, So, but I've lived, to defend, and I'm a fighter. So, when I met Jillian Coates back in 2015, and at the time I was working at a tattoo shop that was sponsoring her, got to know her really well. And I was about 205 pounds. A gentleman that I was tattooing for a while was telling me about Pablo's Jiu Jitsu class and said, hey, you should come check it out. And I'm like, I don't know, man. A bunch of dudes rolling around, sweaty and all that. I'm like, I don't know. Yeah. So I kicked it around for about 6 months. Then I saw Jillian at the store right after her pro debut, and I told her, that I was thinking about it. She's like, you got to go talk to my coach Pablo, and I was like, that sounds cool. So that was on a Sunday. I went in and talked to him on Tuesday. That's when I first met Craig. Yeah. And met Pablo that day. And then I joined, and that was the second week of January, and I was 205 pounds when I started.
Wow.
So, and I stopped lifting weights. I've just done nothing but training. And with the help of Jillian, I do private lessons with her. I train with her 5 days a week aside from our normal training. Yeah. And, she's really helped me get to where I'm at. Mark has been wonderful. All the other coaches and guys at the fight camp, Warrior Camp is really, it's an awesome family, and I love the fight community. I've met so many people that are just really, awesome. I spent most of my life on antidepressants, mood stabilizers, anxiety, like crazy. And I stopped taking all of that in December, and I found a peace with jiu-jitsu and doing what I'm doing, and it's pretty awesome. I really like it. That is
awesome. So you mentioned that you met Pablo, you met Rose, you met Jillian there. How much of an impact? It sounds like the impact that they've made on your life is just crazy awesome in a ton of different ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's really amazing, that when I first went in there, I was like, this is what I want to do. And, everybody in the camp was like, that's great. If you work really hard, that you can make it happen, and nobody ever told me that I couldn't do anything, because I'm the type of person, if you tell me I can't do something, I'll do it twice and take pictures.
Yeah.
And I went through that with personal trainers, at the gym I was going to. And by the sixth trainer, I was like, this person was really working with me again, and it was working out great. But I loved doing what I was doing more when I started fighting or training to fight at Warrior Camp. So there was a lot of guys that I trained with that were like, right on, cool, that's awesome, that what you want to do. But they didn't really know and understand, my drive is limitless. And whatever it takes to make it happen. And I grew up that way and have grown so much as a person with my children that, because it was just a sudden done, I got to be a dad, a single dad. And with my addictions, I've always been a functioning alcoholic addict. Nobody really knew anything about what I was doing. They just knew I partied. Yeah. And so when it came down to me opening up, because I'm a pretty private person, I keep a lot of everything private. And when I made an announcement on Facebook and everything, it was pretty crazy. A lot of people didn't really understand and know, what was going on with it all. And, it's been amazing with a lot of people. I've been in and out of treatment. I actually went to school in the late 90s, early 2000s, got my bachelor's in psychology, and I minored in chemical dependency counseling. And I was going to be a drug and alcohol counselor, but couldn't pay enough money for me to raise my children. So I just continued tattooing, and that's where I've been with that. In the early 90s, I did a tour in the state penitentiary. And when I got out, I was out about 4 months, reoffended, got 2 girls pregnant, married one. Wow. After I got married, I went back to prison within about 3 weeks after I got married, did another tour. And so the rock bottom that I had was missing the birth of my first 2 kids. Different moms, they're 3 months apart. Yeah. And so that, I'm done, I'm not going to party. And I was sober for quite a long time. And I got out of prison in 96. And in 2007, I got in a pretty bad motorcycle wreck. And that's where it all went downhill again, because I got on opiates, and, recovery for my body and everything was crazy. And so then the opiates led to heroin, and then, on and on. So, yeah.
Wow. That's just crazy. You mentioned you're a street fighter, you were a scrapper, didn't really have any of the training in MMA or wrestling or any of that. What made you, as you're working out with Pablo and them, decide to go, man, I really want to get in that cage and go start fighting at age 48?
I just really like, everything that we were doing, and it's a safe zone. It's legal. One of my favorite things to do is ground and pound.
Gotcha.
So, you're not going to get a felony or anything like that for it. And it's an agreed match for you to display each other's skills, Yeah. And it's a controlled environment. I really like being in the cage. you know, I feel pretty comfortable in there. And it's never too late to do anything. You know, I hope that by me doing this, that other people can have that drive, because I was the epitome of the lazy, fat, alcoholic addict that I'm not even going to get up to go get the mail. I'd make the kids go do it, you know?
Sure.
And so for them to see me be as athletic as I am is really wonderful. You know, a few months back, Jillian, you know, she's always pumping in me, you know, you're an athlete. And I've never, ever been an athlete, considered for anything.
Right.
For a long time. And when you got coaches that say, hey, how do you feel about being part of the elite 1%? And I'm like, what do you mean? Well, you're a mixed martial artist. I'm like, you know what? I am. That's pretty rad.
Yeah.
Because I've never been that and had this type of family that's just so encouraging. And, you know, they with the jiu-jitsu, you know, I had a lot of trouble in the beginning. And one of the other guys that I worked with a lot was like, you know, don't worry about it. I had to ask 10 times. You know, and everybody's like so patient that, you know, they're willing and able to help you to get to where you want to be, as long as you put the effort in, you know? And so important to me is their care for each individual. And, you know, it's just wonderful. You know, I love it.
So July 26th, you got your fight coming up. Is there an opponent that's been named yet for you?
There is. I'm not exactly sure if that's going to be the guy. Rose and I were talking about it today. It'll essentially be up to Pablo and Jillian, because Jillian will be in my corner as well, because she is one of my coaches. There is a secondary person that'll be between the two, but as far as I know, one has been picked so far.
Awesome.
And so I know there was 80 registrars for this fight, so there's quite a few people.
Wow.
It's going to be pretty awesome. Yeah. I'm really excited.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna be at the event, hopefully doing some commentary for the event with Rose and Pablo that night. So I'm excited to be seeing you make your debut for sure, man. You are a tattoo artist at Jojo's on Government, which, I mean, how long have you been doing tattoos, man? Because your work that I've seen online and obviously on yourself, maybe you do some tattoos on yourself, I'm not sure, but how long have you actually been doing tattoo work?
I've been tattooing 30 years.
Come on.
But professionally, I started in the year 2000.
Okay.
So July 2020 will be 20 years. Just
so we can give you a shout out there, so people can come, they can go see you at Jojo's Tattoos and have you give them a nice old tattoo then, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That would
come on, man.
Awesome. But I do have something I do want to show you guys.
Yeah.
I have this picture that was in 2009, and it was at the height of my opiate, and I had started dabbling in heroin at the time. And it's me at 265 pounds.
Wow.
So I'm going to hold this picture up so you can see, and it's with members of Slipknot. It's pretty cool, you know.
Heck yeah, dude. Oh, that's awesome. Wow.
So yeah, you can really see the difference.
All right, so rapid fire questions. What's the most painful tattoo that you've ever had done?
I would say probably up under my throat.
Yeah, I can't imagine for sure.
It's just I really like getting tattooed, so it's like therapy for me.
Sure.
You know, and when people ask me, you know, well, does it hurt there? And I'm like, yeah, I guess, you know, because all as long as they'll dish it out. So it's usually the artist that'll be done tattooing. Yeah. But I'll keep going, you know.
Come on.
And everybody will see how much more work I have, you know, when I'm up there in the cage. So.
Yeah. Probably said this kind of by saying that you're with Slipknot, but do you have a favorite band or do you have a favorite style of music that you like to listen to?
I've always been a metalhead, born and bred. I've been in quite a few bands. I play guitar, drums, and bass, and Lamb of God is like right up there on the top. So my walkout song will be a Lamb of God tune.
Sweet.
You know, Devil Driver, you know, just that style. You know?
Yeah, awesome. When you aren't giving tattoos and you're not fighting or training to fight there, what are you doing for fun?
My grandkids.
Yeah.
You know, I love hanging with my grandkids.
Yeah.
And my Harley, you know.
Getting on the Harley?
But
nice.
I usually don't have a whole lot of time for anything. I just pretty much work and train. So
sure.
I have to, like, you know, pick and choose little bits of times. But, you know, even 5 minutes with the grandbabies is good. Like, when we're done, my grandkids are at my house. I'm going to go hang out, cook some dinner for them tonight. So it's going to be awesome. 2
more questions for you. Do you have a favorite movie?
I want to say I'm a huge John Carpenter fan, so it's really hard to choose any of John Carpenter's stuff. But I would have to say The Thing is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And Jaws. Jaws is like, yeah.
So good. Absolutely, man. Last question for you. Do you have a favorite fighter?
A favorite fighter? Conor McGregor. I've always loved his work.
Yeah.
And I think I always will, just because just his demeanor and the way he does. I mean, some of his outside of the cage things are, but other than that, I really enjoy his work. Cool, and the thing is I always thought that, when I hadn't intended on losing as much weight, and it's just happened. And one thing just is so weird and amazing to me is, featherweight. I mean, who would have ever thought that I would be fighting as a featherweight? It's insane.
Also wanted to give you an opportunity to give a shout out to just teammates, coaches, sponsors, anybody that you'd like.
Okay. Yeah. Warrior Camp, especially Rose, Pablo, Hayden has been great with Jiu Jitsu. Jillian Coates, if anybody can do anything with getting a private lessons, private sessions with her, it's great because we do wrestling, Jiu Jitsu, kickboxing, and just everything. I mean, each day is a different day that we do currently. And then, Craig Fleissner, Craig's been just awesome. Jeremiah, great. Everybody that I work with at camp. Guardian Chiropractic, Michael is great. It's awesome. I see him like all the time, and he's brought me a lot, from where I was at prior to seeing him, and just the rapport that I have from him on how my everything is doing with what I'm doing has been just awesome. And then my boss, the whole shop, we're shutting down early and everybody's gonna come see me fight, which is awesome.
Cool.
And he's just like, Jojo is like, he's the man, and we also, the shop sponsors Craig Fleissner, and I sponsor and Tattoo Ice too. Okay. But I don't know, there's so many people,
oh, thank you.
Like Mike Smith, I've known that guy for a long time. I did his first tattoo, I think around 2008, 2009-ish. And it's been like this really humbling for me to see people that I haven't seen in a long time and that have come out of the woodworks and posts. Yeah. And knowing what I'm going to do and what I am doing, that, they had no idea, because I kept all of my weight loss, all the MMA, everything has been a secret until that poster came out. Only a select few knew what was going on in my life, aside from my sobriety, and it's pretty rad.
Yeah.
And so some people are like, are you really going to do that? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do it, man. What do you think? It's a joke? Come watch me fight.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I am honored to have gotten the chance to get to know you a little bit more on the show. Super proud of you, dude. I mean, to come where you were at, to come through all of that, and then be out on top and lose the weight and be sober, man. I've been through those battles, and man, I'm just want to say, from one dude to another dude, man, thank you for doing what you do, and I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you. It means a lot. And when I got your message about coming on the show, I was just like, oh my God, this is so rad,
Come on, man.
It's great, and I appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again, Doug, for your time. I appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing you fight July 26th. Proving Grounds MMA, presented by Warrior Camp.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching the show. Please subscribe to our channel. Would really appreciate that. If you could please give us a follow on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well. And please check back. We're always bringing on awesome people for the Top Rated MMA Show, and entrepreneurs, world changers, and success-minded people for the Bearded Biz Show. Thanks so much. Have an awesome day.